morning and welcome to the Thursday edition of Good Morning Abia, your one-stop breakfast show on MCL TV. Well, we'll educate, inform, and above all, entertain you with happenings around you. Nigeria and its diaspora. My name is Stella Wanda. We urge you to stay glued to your television set as it promises to be good. And of course, you know the way we do it. We usually start with the Wilson Mambo just to inspire you or spoil you as you go out for your daily activities. And trust me, on the Wilson Mambo this morning, it has so much to tell you about encouragement. Now let's go straight up to the Wilson Mambo. And on the Wilson Marble this morning, every time you smile at someone, it is an action of love, a gift to that person, a beautiful thing. I'll take it again, and it's actually coming from Mother Teresa. Every time you smile at someone, it is an action of love, a gift to that person, a beautiful thing. It is just preaching, smile, smile, and showing love. Of course, yesterday we also talked about showing love to one another, and also need for you to always reciprocate in love towards you. And the Wilson Bible also tells us this morning that there's need for you to smile at someone this morning, no matter what the person has done to you. Remember, the Bible says that we should always forgive. If you actually want God to forgive you of your trespassing, there's also need for you to forgive people that have wronged you in one way or the other. And how will you do that? Accepting Christ as your Lord and personal Savior. I know you'll be like, why is Stella going biblical? Of course, it's just to bring you, what the Wilson is actually trying to tell us this morning. So keep smiling, smile to people so as to, distribute love. Just like we keep telling you that love is the only thing we need right now in Nigeria, looking at the situation and the incessant killing, the insecurity and all that. So we need love for one another to have a better Nigeria that we all are yearning for. I welcome you once again to your one-stop breakfast show on MCL TV, and of course move straight up to the news making it around the world. President Muhammad Buhari on Wednesday directed that effective from next year, Nigerian Democracy Day will be marked every June 12 in honor of the acclaimed winner of the June 12, 1993 presidential election, late Chief Moshood Abiola. Nigeria returned to democratic rule on May 29, 1999, and the day has been recognized as National Day by successive governments in the country. A statement issued by the Senior Special Assistant on Media Publicity to the President, Garba Shehu, said the move is to honor an illustrious son of Nigeria, Chief Moshood Kashimawo Abiola, who won a presidential election but was prevented from taking office when the results were annulled. The late MKO Abiola will be conferred with the nation's highest honor, the Grand Commander of the Federal Republic, CRF, exclusively conferred on the holders of the highest office in the country, the President. The investors will take place on Tuesday, June 12, 2018, the date which in future years will replace May 29 as a national public holiday in celebration of Nigerian Democracy Day. Police yesterday denied withdrawing their earlier investigation to the Senate President, Dr. Bukola Saraki, to appear before the Force Intelligence Response Team in Abuja to answer questions over his alleged involvement in the Offa Bank robbery and the gruesome killing of over 33 people in Kwara State by some political thugs loyal to him. The police insisted that, contrary to the claim by the Senate President, that his invitation to him had been withdrawn. This came on a day of Olofia of Offa Oba Mufutua said his people would not be party to any attempt to ridicule or embarrass Senate President Dr. Bukola Saraki. This is even as a leader of the suspected gang that carried out the operations. Ayode Akinobosun told journalists yesterday that the Senate President was not aware of their dastardly acts, contrary to insinuation to that effect. First Public Relations Officer Jimo Moshood told journalists at the parade of the suspects in Abuja yesterday that, going by the confessional statement obtained from the suspect, Saraki was culpable in the robbery and killings and therefore had case to answer. Moshood, who disclosed that additional 2 suspects in connection with the act had been nabbed by the police, said they had met confessional statements in the custody where they were being held. In a veiled response to accusation from the National Assembly that the Inspector General of Police, Ibrahim Idris, was framing perceived opponents of President Muhammadu Buhari with criminal cases and consequent votes of no confidence on the police boss on Tuesday, Moshood said the police will not be cowed or succumb to intimidation from any quarter. President Muhammadu Buhari has renewed the appointment of Dr. Jafaru Alunwa Moto and Dr. Nwadinigwe Kajetan as Chief Medical Director of National Hospital Abuja and Medical Director, National Orthopedic Hospital Enugu State, respectively, for the second and final term. The appointments are to take effect from next 5th of next month and last month 30th, respectively. Professor Adewale also hoped that their reappointment will enable the CMDs work collaboratively with all stakeholders, ensuring harmony and continuous delivery of quality health care services to the populace. Congratulating the CMDs on their appointments, the Minister of Health, Professor Isaac Adewale, urged them to improve on achievements already attained in the hospitals to justify the confidence reposed on them. This is contained in a statement issued by the Director of Media and Public Relations, FMOH, Mrs. Belde Akindola. President Muhammadu Buhari on Tuesday signed into law the bill not to run to Yon. This was a fulfillment of his promise to append his signature to the bill as announced in his Democracy Day address to the nation. MCL News correspondent Gloria Opara sought people's opinion on the new law that allows young Nigerians to seek for the highest political office in the land at the age of 35. The report.
With the signing of the bill into law, it can be said that the transition of political power from the old to the younger generation of Nigerians has commenced. The new law constitutionally empowers the youth who has been sidelined since the attainment of political independence in 1960 to run for various political offices. It has reduced the age limit for contesting for House of Representatives and State Houses of Assembly from 30 to 25 years. For youths nursing the ambition of contesting for the highest political office in the land, the presidency, the age limit has been slashed from 40 to 35 years. A cross-section of residents of the state capital that spoke to MCL News expressed happiness on the new legislation.
Before the independence, youths were on top. For most of them, we had a minister at the age of 21. We had presidents, those military, 30, 20 something. So to sign that one into law, like they're under democratic dispensation, it's a good thing.
It's a welcome development. We all look forward to that is signing so that it would empower the youth to be very active and express their interests vehemently in the issues of politics in Nigeria. But it's unfortunate that he's saying that the youth should stay away in respect of the 2019 forthcoming election. That they will not, it's a contradiction. It goes to rewind his original position in respect of signing the Not Too Young to Run bill.
Youths in particular are so happy about the bill that has been signed. But it has to do with the situation in Nigeria. Allowing somebody 30 to 40 years to contest for president, has to do with if the person is well culture, well trained.
Nigeria's democracy can be said to be one of the costliest in the world. Therefore, the nation's political landscape will be dominated by money bags for a long time, while political offices will be for the highest bidder. Youths without the financial muscle will only watch events from the sideline. It therefore means that the new law is not the end of the journey, but the beginning of more work to be done to get younger persons into government. It is on this premise that analysts argue that youths can participate actively in politics when money politics is de-emphasized in Nigeria. Gloria Opara, MCL News.
The federal government has raised in nearly 30 billion naira through the Voluntary Access Income Declaration Scheme, VARDS. The chairman, Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS, Mr. Tunde Fowler, said yesterday, speaking in Abuja during the official presentation of VARDS Certificates of Declaration to Chairman of State Tax Revenue Authority. He said the VARDS windfall was championed by FIRS, which was responsible for the collection of 90% of the amounts, while the states were responsible for the 10% collection balance. According to him, the 30 billion naira so far mopped up from the tax scheme is 3 billion naira higher than the previous 27 billion naira recovered a few months ago. He reminded members of the Joint Tax Board, JTB, that the beauty of VARDS went beyond financial gains, but rather is potential of expanding the tax net. To this end, he said the program has also boosted the nation's tax database from 14 million to 19 million. Fowler said 30 billion naira recovered so far for VARDS, which is expected to terminate in 3 weeks' time, was from both individuals and corporate bodies. He expressed delight that some states have achieved significant progress in the scheme's compliance. He said this explained why executive chairmen of revenue services of such states were invited to share their experiences. He admonished state revenue chairmen to constantly engage in enlightening taxpayers about voluntary tax compliance as a way of building a friendlier tax environment. Fowler said VARDS tax certificates presented to states is not the same with tax clearance certificate, saying one can't replace the other. Nigeria has marked World Environmental Day. The talking point of the 2018 World Environmental Day is beat plastic pollution. The report.
The World Environment Day can be described as the most important event in the United Nations calendar. It is a day set aside to create awareness for the protection of the human environment. Since it was conceived in 1974, the World Environment Day has become a platform for encouraging awareness on the need to protect the environment. Annually, the United Nations chooses a theme that is centered on a pressing global environmental issue. This year, the world body is focusing on the pollution of the environment with plastics. Plastic is polluting waters, harming marine life, and posing a threat to human health. It is true that a large percentage of human population depend on plastic because it is cheap to produce. However, nearly 1/3 of this product is not properly disposed, and it ends up blocking drainage channels, which result to flooding. Study has shown that plastic is not a biodegradable material, as it can last about 1,000 years in the environment. One of the ways of disposing the huge amount of plastic materials that are used daily, especially by inhabitants of urban centers, is through burning. Unknowingly to many, this method is harmful both to individuals and the environment, as it exposes people to many toxins. This is why governments and many organizations are looking for alternatives in order to tackle the issue. An agriculturist, Mrs. Ugoma Carlo, explains the problems associated with plastic disposal and the effect on crops. She prefers an alternative solution to aid its disposal.
In agri-science, when we go to the farm, the cellophane bags that have been buried over the years, you discover it has not decayed. And when you are making ridges or mounds, if you did not remove any of them and you plant, when the root of the plant gets to the point where that cellophane bag or waterproof is, it inhibits further growth, and this will not allow the crop to absorb water. I know in the past when Stample was operating, they used to come to buy these broken plastics, even zippers. They used to buy it and recycle. So I will encourage more importation of such machines so that it will help to keep our environment neat.
Mrs. Elizabeth Ukoha is calling on the government and other agencies to continue to mount vigorous campaign on the need for the people to imbibe the culture of proper waste disposal.
Like when we talk about the control of these plastic boats, buckets, cellophane waste and other things, I think the best thing for us to do as a state is to encourage the KK driver, the bus driver, to have buckets which will be used by their passengers to drop any type of waste, both cellophane and other waste, in that bucket. And any driver that violates this rule will be punished. And we have case studies of some states like Akwa Ibom State, Imo State. They have buckets in order to keep the state neat. In Akwa Ibom State, you see buckets being placed as strategic places in the town, and any violation of such laws should attract some punishment.
There is no doubt that plastic has become a serious threat to humans and the environment. Experts advise that people should reduce the rate at which they use plastics. Chooks, aka MCL News.
And the Naira on Wednesday fell by 1 point, exchanging at 361.5 to the dollar at the parallel market in Lagos. The Nigerian currency had exchanged at 360.50 Naira to the dollar on Tuesday. The pound sterling and the euro closed 484 and 420 Naira respectively at the market. At the Bureau de Change BDC window, the Naira was sold at 360 Naira to the dollar, while the pound sterling and euro closed at 484 and 420 Naira respectively. Trading at the investors' window saw the Naira close at 360.95 Naira to the dollar. At the CBN segment, the Naira was sold at 305.95 Naira to the dollar, while the pound sterling and euro closed at 410 Naira, 410.71 Naira and 360.16 Naira respectively. The Naira exchanged at 47.84 Naira and 23.93 Naira against the yuan and the South African rand. Currency traders said the demand for the dollar had remained high in spite of the huge interventions of the CBN at the foreign exchange market. And that's much you can take on today's news. And you're still watching Good Morning Abia, your one-stop breakfast show on MCL TV. We'll go for a break. When we come back, it will be time for us to preview the national dailies. Please to stay with us.
One-stop breakfast show on TV.
Gateway, Washington, D.C., United States of America. His Excellency, Governor Victor Okezie Ikpeazụ began a new chapter of investment opportunities to reposition Abia State as an investment destination of choice and to attract credible investors to God's own state. At the Nigeria-America Summit in Washington, D.C., Governor Ikpeazụ worked his magic with poise, passion, and precision as he opened up Abia to the rest of the world. Find out the governor's master plan in this captivating program exclusive to MSL TV and ACT TV. Also take a look at how Governor Ikpeazụ, the highly celebrated 2017 Vanguard Governor of the Year, strengthens his vision through Abia Town Hall meetings. For more information and other inquiries, call 080 33 3356.
What is that noise?
He disobeyed quick.
What did they happen?
Yeah, now they're gonna go through.
Okay, so the
Okay, so
time to rebuild Abia. I urge you to set aside our differences so that together we can join hands and build the Abia of our dreams. Remember that my word is my bond.
Good morning, Abia, your one-stop breakfast show on TV.
For inquiries and booking, contact Address Hotel and Suites at number 18 Upper Road, Obo Hill, Aba. Telephone 081 000 00895 or 081 000 00896. Address, the pride of hospitality and tourism.
Have you heard of Fresco World and Heaven Options Limited? Fresco is a home of the direct image right here in Abia. Why go to Lagos or Port Harcourt for your direct image jobs? Come to Prescal Gold and Heavens Auctions located at number 145 Atikwe Road, Abia for perfect cover page, journals, magazines, brochures, and flyers. We also offer printing services in digital flex and billboard, window graphics, posters, stickers, heat transfers, ID cards, complimentary cards, monogram, and car branding. Heaven Auctions offer you entertainment services like event management, ambulance services with well-dignified undertakers. We can also boast of 3 months ordinary program in computer training, 6 months certificate in computer training, and 1 year advanced certificate in computer training. Why not visit Prescal and experience that quality jobs? For inquiries, call 080-33-22-6115, 070-40-24-7196, 070-84-69-8165.
In faraway Washington, D.C., United States of America, His Excellency Governor Victor Okize Ikpeazun began a new chapter of investment opportunities to reposition Abia State as an investment destination of choice and to attract credible investors to God's own state. At the Nigeria-America Summit in Washington, D.C., Governor Ikpeazun worked his magic with poise, passion, and precision as he opened up Abia to the rest of the world. Find out the governor's master plan in this captivating program exclusive to MSL TV and ACT TV. Also take a look at how Governor Ikpeazun, the highly celebrated 2017 Vanguard Governor of the Year, strengthens his vision through Abia Town Hall meetings. For more information and other inquiries, call 080-33-00-3356.
One-stop breakfast show on TV.
Alright, thanks for staying with us. You're still watching Good Morning Abia, your one-stop breakfast show on MCL TV. It is now time for us to tell you what the papers have in store for us. And as usual, we are starting with the Daily Sun. At the top right of our Daily Sun newspaper this morning, 50 shops, 10 vehicles razed by fire in Ebonyi. Court convicts First Bank chairman and MD over 122 billion naira over the compensation. Go to page 5 and get the details of that. And of course, the tragic one that happened at the Ebonyi State, the story is found on page 10. The major headline on the Daily Sun newspaper this morning says, June 12, now Democracy Day, MKO Abiola resurrects. Buhari honors acclaimed winner of 1993 presidential election with GCFR, Kingibe Fawahimi with GCON, Finally, it's done, says eldest son, Kola. The story is found on page 8 of the Daily Sun newspaper. Moving down closer to the picture element, NAS states the Buhari overplanned to suspend anti-grazing law. Go to page 6 and get the story. Beneath that, APC crisis. Court stops Cross River A-School from assuming office. The story is found on page 9 of the Daily Sun newspaper. Lloyd has no electoral value, says Rivers Chief of Staff. Go to page 11 and get the story. Now we'll move straight up to the back page of the Daily Sun newspaper. Newton Jubino, that's at the top there, it says life is land. Life is land towards a cleaner environment. Life is land towards a cleaner environment. It's coming from Newton Jubino. Go to page 42 and get the story on Environmental Day. Now Louis Obi says the sleazy political road to offer. The sleazy political road to offer is found on page 16 of the Daily Sun. Coming to a public forum, and of course it's coming from Uzodinma Nwala. Uzodinma Nwala said, Chinwizu, federalism, confederalism, and restructuring. You shall see the picture element of President Muhammad Buhari. Go to the back page of the Daily Sun and get the story. Moving down on Citizen Joe, Dutch Prime Minister mops floor after spilling coffee, says news. And the response there says, Ha Oyibo, what an ordinary councillor can't do in Nigeria. Still talking about simplicity. And of course, that is it on the Daily Sun. We'll move straight up to the Nation newspaper. At the top of the Nation newspaper this morning, the top right there, it says, hoodlums abduct INEC chief in Akwa Ibom. The story is found on page 41 of the Nation. Beneath that, Senator Committee heavily compromised. Senator Committee heavily compromised. If you want to know why he's saying that, go to page 8 and get the story. Super Eagles lose another warm-up match. The story is found on page 47 on sports. Navy seizes rice worth over 50 million naira in Calabar. It's found on page 4 of the Nation newspaper. At the top left there, House sends Jibrin Gudaji to ethics panel. The story completed on page 7. Moving down, Enugu Anambra seek end to boundary row. It's found on page 7 of the Nation newspaper. Moving down, the picture element, former Minister of Mines and Steel Kayode Fayemi exchanging pleasantries with Minister of Youth and Sports Solomon Dalong during a valedictory section of the Fayemi at the Council Chambers Presidential Villa in Abuja yesterday. With them are Minister of Transportation Rotimi Amechi and Minister of State Mines and Steel Bawa Buhari. Moving down, the major headline there says Niger Delta Clark Dokubo differ over Buhari's actions. Region neglected, says elder statesman. Amnesty chief Buhari doing well. The story is found on page 41 of the Nation newspaper. Buhari honors Abiola. That's another headline there. Now the picture element of late Abiola in Hale. Now let's say police is seized on Saraki's link with offer robbery suspects. Go to page 7 and get the story. Moving down beneath the picture element there, in the view of Nigerians as shared by this administration, June 12, 1993 was far more symbolic of democracy in the Nigerian context than May 29 or even the October 1st. The story completed on page 6 of the Nation newspaper. Beneath the front page of the Nation newspaper this morning, Odua dumps PDP for Abia. The story found on page 43 of the Nation newspaper. Lalong distributes 400 tractors to farmers. The story completed on page 42 of the Nation newspaper. Now let's move straight to the back page of the Nation newspaper this morning. A time to be young. That's the headline there. You can see it. A time to be young. Go to the back and get what that is actually talking about. And coming from Wingo Motor Show on Editorial Notebook. The World Cup is here. The World Cup is here. You see the picture element of Eagles coach Gennard Ra. Now go to the back page there and get the details of that story. Moving down on hardball, Achilles the Cats. That's on hardball, Achilles the Cats. Can also get the details of what that is actually talking about. Then on Rapos, some Nigerians put every blame on Buhari, says Cleric. Even those that have been jobless for over 20 years still blame him for being jobless. Even those that have been jobless for over 20 years still blame him for being jobless. That's the response on Rapos. Now we'll move straight to the last paper on our desk, the New Telegraph. At the top of the New Telegraph this morning, VARDS. Federal government raised in 30 billion naira from tax defaulters. FEC okays tax law reforms, introduces penalties for gas flaring. Go to page 7 and get the story on New Telegraph. Headers killed 2 NECO candidates and 7 others in Benue. The story goes on page 37 and get the details of that. I was reluctant to release Fayemi, says President Muhammadu Buhari. The story is found on page 7 of the New Telegraph. Senators overrule committee and confirm rejected RAC nominee. This found on page 6. That's the headline with the picture element of Saraki. Now the next one, Okawa Omahi NUJ NAWOJ Mon Enugu CPS Abuja. The story is found on page 8 of the New Telegraph. But the boldly written headline there in front of the New Telegraph, it says, kudos not for Buhari. Kudos and not for Buhari as federal government declares June 12 Democracy Day. Let MKO Abiola Bass highest honor, GCFR. Federal government honors Kingibe Gani Fayehimi with GCON. Sage Falae Adebanjo Balaribe Afenere held president. Juliet is male politics. PDP to Buhari, you are not sincere. All these are found on page 5 of the New Telegraph. Moving down, in the view of Nigerians as shared by this administration, June 12, 1993 was far more symbolic of democracy in the Nigerian context than May 29 or even October 1st. June 12, 1993 was the day when Nigerians and the millions expressed their democratic will. That's coming from President Muhammadu Buhari. Now the picture elements, the late MKO Abiola. Saraki has case to answer over bank robbery, says police. Say invitation to Senate President stands. The police are saying that invitations to Senate President still stands. No deadline for appearance. Go to page 6 and get the story. Now coming to the health, exposure to light while sleeping increases diabetes risk. Exposure to light while sleeping increases diabetes risk. That's on health, but there's need for you to read more on that on page 10 because it has to do with your health. Now we'll move straight up to the back page of the New Telegraph. 2019, Ndibo missing in action. It's coming from Ike Amboni on political musings. Let me quickly read out something that is coming out from that headline. 2019, Ndibo missing in action. It says, there was a time in this country when no power sharing discourse can take place without Ndibo. But since 2007, the story changed and they now struggle for progress. You can also get the details of that at the back page of the New Telegraph. And that is it with the newspaper review this morning. Just immediately after the program, go to the nearest vendor and buy any of the papers and read more on the headlines that we just read out to you this morning. You're still watching Good Morning Abia, the one-stop breakfast show on MCL TV. We'll go for a break. When we come back, the program will continue. Please stay with us.
one-stop breakfast show on TV.
Do not deface Abia State with posters. Do not defecate on our streets. Do not litter Abia State.
My brothers, I say wetin man go do for this world where people no go talk. If you chop,
Do not urinate in public places.
you no chop, dem go talk. Wetin make we do for this world? I say make we dey do the things wey we carry for heart. Na so world want am. Abi no be so?
Keep Abia State clean. This message is brought to you by MCL TV.
Good morning, Abia, your one-stop breakfast show on TV.
كتير بحلم إني في بوحراز وعايش حياتي الطبيعية. بحلم إني بحش في القش وقاعد وسط النخيل. كتير بتكلم مع ناس ما موجودين عن حاجات بقت ما في. بحس إني بيت، بحس إني ميت وأنا يعني حي.
هاي لا سلام لا سلام وي لا يسلمك
جاينا قصة ما نعرفها في بلاد
والله لا
والله العظيم سلام يا زلمة
كيف الحال ان شاء الله تمام سلامات لا يسلمك ان شاء الله بخير كيف تمام يا خالد ان شاء الله تمام كيف الحال تمام
الله يسلمك الله يبارك فيك الله يسلمك الله يبارك فيك الله يسلمك والله ما شاء الله ما شاء الله والله الحرم شغلك أخرج يا عيني يا عيني يا كافر يا نصرانية أخرجي من بلدنا أخرج يا عيني يا عيني يا كافر يا نصرانية أخرجي عين الراجل فيها مناجل عين المرأة فيها اللرح عين الفتاة فيها واطع عين الوليد فيها عبيد أخرج يا عيني يا عيني يا كافر يا نصرانية شومة يا شقي.
الإخوة الأخوات في أبو حراز امبارح بالليل منى وضعت لها بيت فمرحبا بالمولود الجديد في بلدنا. الإخوة الأخوات في أبو حراز امبارح بالليل منى وضعت لها بيت فمرحبا بالمولود الجديد في بلدنا. الإخوة الأخوات في أبو حراز امبارح بالليل منى وضعت لها بيت فمرحبا بالمولود الجديد في بلدنا. الإخوة الأخوات في أبو حراز امبارح بالليل منى وضعت لها بيت.
مرج معانا نصيح كده ما شاء الله الله يسلمك انتوا ما طفتوا معانا يا عفا ما صدقني زي ما كنت لا العين ولا جوريك ليه الا وقت دي بالانجليزي حتى باخد سكتي ما ينفعش الحليب ده الصحراء دي هدي لي وصل شومي شومي
Kalau kamu sudah bernaik,
saya lama naik.
sudah bernaik deh.
Jadi تتخصص.
Kalau kami jadi hari macam mana kami jadi? Ini kau ada hati saya kau benar. Kan kau ada apa? Kan kau ada apa?
الله دي
راحت لك راح
تذكروا البارحة أخذنا مسكين. كلها معاي مسكين. 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 مسكين ده شنو؟ معناه شنو؟ مسكين معناه شنو؟ مسكين كلمة مسكين معناه شنو؟ مسكين. مفاتيح عارفين هذه المفاتيح لدى الأبواب والعربات الحاجة اللي يفتحوه. كويس؟ كلمة تمساح يعني التمساح الحيوان الموجود في البحر. كويس؟ عندنا كلمة بستان يا الحديقة. الصور يا الطير الذي يقرب أو أي طير طاير. يبقى كلمة مسكين. مسكين. الزول الذي لا يملك شيء. يعني الزول اللي ما عنده حاجة يتمشى يأكل باي يشرب الماء. يا خلاص عندنا كلمة مسكين لأن سووه كتار. يلا قول لك معي مساكين. مساكين. Aku dah ada lagi.
تعال تعال جنبه والله الجرس جاي علي بس في قلب المنزل ولا علي بالعجل ولا دقيق والله ولا عندي والله ولا عندي انا بدك فايتك على البيت والله عندي كده عدولي ده يا اختي كانوا جيبها ده بقول لي انا ما لا بقربت فيكم على البيت يلا علي لا تعال علي علي ولا اخذت لي ما ابي وين انت عوري بلا بلا انا الكلب انا ما اجي كده انا ما اجي كده ما اجي كده انا تعبني بكدمات تعال كده تعال كده بكدمات تعال كده اخذ رجال عندك كيف هاي عندك اجي والله انتو انا قديم على بركه قاعد كده انا من لا قاعد غير ما تقول كده عشان اجي كده خالد عندك كيف هاي كده هذا مش قاعد كده ما تجي عندي لا ثاني عندي ما حدا دي ترى ما حدا حتى هذا ما حد لك مدرس كده اي حدثي عرش ادم ولا كنت انا من بلد اقول لك هذا بدي كده والله عندي كنت اخذ كده كده اقل كل مره ولا كده عندي كده كده من قال اللي ثم تغدي كده كان بصير عرش هذا قال ما جبت واحد من حجاج رقم عربي كذاب والله كذاب والله كذاب وانتوا تاجدون ساعات كده نتاج
يوم انا راقد جاني الجن وقاعد يشتكي لي، قال انه المحلة دي كلها بعد شوية هتتسكن. قمت سألته ليه، قال لي قريب ده الموية دي هتغرق المنطقة دي كلها، لأنه الجن بدأ يقرب مني شديد خالص. صحيت
أخي المواطن الرجاء حتى على الحضور شوفوا في عبد الرحمن لا تطالب في حقوق وشمسي وجدالة يدعي الظلم هذه في الله انكسارا أمر في عارجة تتجعل سيوسف مجد المهارة ما تجعل الفكرة وفيها مفتاح الخسارة أخي المواطن تدعوكم رابطة الطلاب ابن عمري في الجامعات المعاهد العليا للمؤتمر المهام بدار العرب الرجاء حرص على الحضور التأهيل مجانا أخي المواطن الرجاء حرص على الحضور ما حكم ذات تفعل ولا تكفر النفس الإمارة أمر بعد المحكم ذات يحدث لا تتابع يا مطالب
One-stop breakfast show on TV.
Thanks for staying with us. It's still Good Morning Abia, your one-stop breakfast show on FTL TV. It is now time for us to discuss, and today we are looking at the threat by the National Assembly to impeach President Muhammadu Buhari. The National Assembly has cautioned President Muhammadu Buhari to respect the rule of law, curtail killings across the country, and stop the harassment and humiliation of political opponents. The Parliament threatened to evoke relevant provisions of the Constitution against Buhari if he fails to heed the Council. Now the National Assembly resolutions, the first one, security agencies must curtail the sustained killing of Nigerians, harassment and humiliation of political opponents, legislators and judiciary by the executive using security agencies must stop. Strict adherence to the rule of law and protection for all citizens. And the fourth one says the president must be held accountable for the actions of his appointees and must sanction those who endanger democracy. The fifth, fight against corruption must not be selective prosecution of current appointees with pending cases. And of course the sixth one, the sanctity of the National Assembly should be protected, prosecution of those who invaded the Senate. National Assembly to liaise with international communities to secure Nigeria's democracy. And the eighth one, removing the present reign of fear and intimidation ahead of 2019 elections. The ninth one, NAS to work with the civil society organizations, trade unions and NGOs to further deepen and protect our democracy. The 10th, the president must contend the growing level of unemployment and poverty. The next one, pass a vote of confidence in the Senate, President and the Speaker, House of Representatives. The 12th one, reaffirm a vote of no confidence in the Inspector General of Police, Ibrahim Idris. And the last, NAS to evoke his constitutional powers if nothing is done to address the resolutions. And of course, to discuss with us this morning, our Honorable Jude Udacha. He is a politician. Honorable, good to have you on the program this morning.
Morning, Stella. Good morning, Abians. Welcome to the program.
And sitting next to Honorable Jude Udacha is Barrister Victor Mugo. Barrister, always a pleasure to have you on the program.
Good morning, and good morning, Abians.
And sitting next to him is Honorable Charles Obani. Honorable, a pleasure to have you on today's program.
Abia, I call you blessed. Good morning.
All right, welcome, gentlemen. Starting with you, Honorable Judy Dachara. Looking at the conditions, are they timely?
Very, very timely, I must say. Everything in that resolution was apt. That is, it's like speaking the mind of Nigerians.
Okay.
Let's not mind the fact that both the presidency has tried to paint the National Assembly, in bad light. In fact, one of his speeches, the president was saying that some of the members had been in National Assembly for 10 years and had done nothing in those 10 years. I mean, it was the voice of the president. People are going ahead to publish the amount of money they collect. One of their own, one of the senators, under pressure for the House to disclose what salaries, what the emoluments that are paid. And nothing yet is even heard about what the presidency, the executive arm is taking home monthly. In fact, the president medical bill, the other day, they went to court to challenge it, that it cannot even be disclosed. Okay. So there have been, concerted efforts to put down the National Assembly, to make Nigerians believe that they're just wasting the government resources, that the nation's resources, and they're doing nothing. So, and they've been followed up by the presidency, the executive agencies and agents, security agencies, to pick, on some members of the National Assembly that are opposed to some of the views of the president or some of his policies that are not popular, sometimes slamming criminal charges on them, some very absurd, criminal, incriminating them in some matters that most of them probably don't even know anything about. So it was very, very appropriate that the two houses should come together and take a stand, make a resolution, and let the presidency know that we are under a democracy.
All right, thank you very
and
much.
That those members of the National Assembly represent a cross-section of this country, a majority portion of this country. And so, no matter what happens, they must be protected. So those resolutions were very, very apt and delivered at the appropriate time, because we soon go into national elections. So if the presidency keeps holding opposition into police cells, with drum-up charges and intimidating people with EFCC charges, I mean, our democracy is bound to die a natural death. So we need a free and fair, a conducive atmosphere for 2019 elections. So
thank you so much.
Those resolutions came at the appropriate time, and for me, the presidency must listen.
All right, thank you so much. Barrister Victor Wogo, do you agree with these 12 conditions given by the National Assembly, and is the resolution timely, sir?
Well, for me, I've always known that this National Assembly, the 8th National Assembly, is one chance vehicle Nigerian standards. It is, I remember, Bukola Saraki at all times tried to personalize his corrupt tendency to be that of National Assembly. He was a man who was being charged under Code of Conduct, and each time he was going to stand his trial, the National Assembly would stood still with majority members of the National Assembly accompanying him when they ought to stay back to do national assignments. We also saw a National Assembly where a dramatist, the person of Dino Malaye, took time to dance around in the Senate, and the Senate President gave him taxpayers' time to talk about his experience with the police invitation to him in respect to those who were arrested on arms deal, who mentioned his name. He kept on dramatizing. At a time there was jailbreak and some of them escaped. It was as if he wanted to pull down the National Assembly and said that police must arrest those people. When eventually those people were arrested
and they honored him and invited him. He sees himself as above the law. Saraki too sees himself above the law. I will tell you, it's so sad that some people will prefer the old order of corruption galore. You see, today I ask, we live in this town. When you drive around the crescents, Constitution Crescent, Hohe Crescent, Scholar Crescent, Ekena, you see NDDC doing a good work. My question is that in the past regimes, how come NDDC was not doing it? So people prefer that same level of corruption where money meant for project will be shared and eaten. And this is a president who has been acknowledged worldwide. In fact, he's leading Africa on fight against corruption. In fact, when he visited Trump said that the level of fight against corruption by your government has opened doors of investment, because nobody will want to come and invest in a country where that is corrupt infested. Okay, sir. So, with due respect. Okay. So for me, National Assembly resolution is what they have done is too far away from Section 143. If truly they feel they have impeachable cases, offenses against the president, let them activate Section 143 so that once and for all, it will be decided. And when it fails, and I can tell you, one thing most certainly will happen by 2019. It is that either Buhari will not return as president, or Bukola Saraki will not return as president of Senate, because the headship by the two, even though from one political party, shows that the National Assembly is not complementing the effort of the president. So in that respect, it is deterring the speed of growth of what the government policies. So either way, it's either Nigerians will take a decision and say Buhari is not moving in tandem, that we want to prefer a situation where we go back to our old ways of corruption, that we are not prepared to change, that we want corruption, we have won corruption as part of our dress, and then we should be allowed to wear it.
Okay, sir, thank you so much. Honorable Jududacho, I want you to react to some of the issues raised by Barrister, but before you do that, Honorable Charles need to come in here. Honorable Charles, tell us, looking at the conditions given to President Muhammad Buhari, do you think it's timely, and do you agree with the 12 conditions?
Thank you once again. Let me say something here. The National Assembly, they are representing the depending on the figure one wants to go to, whether 120, 150, 180 million Nigerians. They are our representatives. Constitutionally, they are our, if anybody thinks otherwise, I think you know what to do. But as at today, those men and women are the voice of Nigerians.
Okay.
And what they have outlined is part of their duties, what they are elected to do.
Okay.
And for checks and balances, the Constitution gave them the right that when the number one citizen, it doesn't have to be Buhari, it can be me tomorrow, it can be you tomorrow.
Yeah.
But whenever the number one citizen seems to be going contrary to the general expectation of majority of Nigerians, that the National Assembly reserves the right, they have the right to remove that number one citizen by way of impeachment or whatever. And look, let me state the facts. Majority of Nigerians are not enjoying this government led by Buhari. That's a fact. Fact. I'm not saying truth. Fact.
Okay.
Our economy is bastardized.
Okay.
I just want to tell somebody, begin to name things that are better now, that are not like 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay.
Begin to name them, let me see.
Okay.
I'm not a spokesman for the president, I'm a spokesperson for the Nigerian Senate, but the thing is that they have the right to remove the president. And if you ask majority of Nigerians in the streets, are you enjoying the president? They say no. Then what we are not enjoying, what is the best thing to be done? Is either we wait for 2019 to remove him, or the people we elected that have the right to remove him before an election, they remove him before then.
Okay, thank you very much. I want Barrister Victor Mugu now to react to what he said, and he wants you to make mention of some of the things we are enjoying in this administration. Yes, I'll come to you.
It's very
that we aren't enjoying better.
That we weren't enjoying better than.
As we sit now,
okay.
I can remember that for almost 15 years, nobody could drive from Brass Street to the Express Road.
Thanks to
you come in, sir. You come in. That's where I'll ask you. And special advisor to the governor.
Please,
go ahead, sir.
Let us not misinform the public.
Okay, go ahead.
The Fox Road is a joint venture, 70-30%. I'll tell you, that project was signed by T. Orji, who didn't fund it, but was funded, 30% was funded by the present government, Abia State. Federal government, 70%.
70%.
You leave that.
Okay.
You leave, I'm sorry.
Yeah, hold on. You react, sir. You
leave that. When you hit the express road, Express, Port Harcourt, Enugu Express, particularly from Umeka Junction, has never enjoyed the present state it is now for several years.
Okay.
You can see Sukuk. Sukuk is a loan that was gotten from Islamic banking. You know, in Islamic banking, they usually don't take interest. So you take that road, come back to Aba. I've mentioned the Crescents. I'm talking about Ekena.
Okay.
And some other roads by NDDC.
Okay.
You see, so that one is part one.
Okay.
Today, before now, we never heard about Empower program. If you go to rice markets at in Abia, you see that the local rice is dominating more than 60% of the rice on sale.
At what price?
No, sorry, I'm coming to that. 60% of rice on sale.
Okay.
The implication is that many people have been employed by farmers.
Okay.
Who, right from the farming stage, more Nigerians have been employed. Processing stage, more Nigerians have been employed, and the local rice has more nutrients. And I can tell you, as a matter of fact,
is it affordable?
No, I'll still come to that.
Okay.
At the beginning of introduction of production of local rice, if you remember, the price was 20,000. From 20,000, it came down to 18, 17, 16. Today, local rice is at 15, 14, depending on the one you're going. So if it continues in that manner, in the next 2-3 years, local rice will come as low as 10, and we'll begin to export rice.
Okay.
Today, crude oil will soon phase out. So the question of what is the alternative means of earning revenue? Talk about the rail lines. Rail line that was started by Obasanjo and then continued by Jonathan. Today, the present government has not only continued and completed some, but has improved on the gauges. For the first time in the history of this country, we are doing coastal line rail.
Okay.
And without rail linking, functional rail linking the south and the north, the economy of Nigeria can never grow.
Okay.
On energy production,
okay,
at least today, Nigeria has been able to improve up to 7,000 megawatts. And as we talk, everything is on ground that between now and 2019, there will be more steady supply of electricity to common homes of Nigerians.
Okay. All right, thank you very much. So all these things you mentioned are the things we are enjoying in this present administration that we weren't enjoying then.
And today in Abia, we enjoy a better security.
A better security. All right, thank you so much, Honorable Charles. You will react to that. Now, coming to you, Honorable Judu Daja, as the Special Assistant to the Governor on Trade and Investment, do you agree with what Barrister Victor Mugu said concerning the construction of
everything we're seeing on all the jobs aspects, the drainage, the road that's been done from Branch to Fox Road is being done 100% by the government of Dr. Okezie Ikpeazu. In fact, the design, The design took 6 months.
Okay.
I knew when the design was on, even when people were shouting, when we even went to the governor to make interventions, he did tell us that there was no point wasting money doing interventions on that road. That we should let Abia people talk and complain, but eventually when work is done there, these were the words of the governor. Personally, I had a privilege to talk with him, to appeal to him for intervention on that road when it was so bad, and he did mention it. So there was no way. I mean, I'm surprised to hear that he said TOJ awarded the contract.
I didn't say so. No. I said
that the contract was awarded.
No. I said hold on. I said agreement. It was entered during TOJ for counterpart funding.
So please,
30-70 funding.
Everything you're seeing on that road is being done by the current administration of Abia State. Please.
Okay, now
my reaction. I was just waiting for Barrister to say something tangible, a project that this present administration started, maybe is doing or has completed, not one. He mentioned the rails was started by Passenger, continuing with Jonathan, and Buhari is continuing.
Yeah.
He mentioned the
Enugu Port Harcourt Express Road.
That's those roads I mentioned. Roads across the board and rail lines in Enugu Port Harcourt road contract was awarded by Jonathan. Does it well? I gave it as a parting gift to the Southeast when she was coordinating minister. So Jonathan awarded it, and they were doing the job.
We'll come down to
so I say it would be nice to mention one project that the current administration, one project.
Are you saying
in the southeast, even in the southeast, that President Buhari started, or that he started and is doing, or has completed in 3 years? I can't see any. But I'm looking at we're discussing the resolutions. The House did mention about security, the killings. Said stop the killings. As we are talking, the killings are still going on. The killings are still going on.
Yeah.
And just recently, the Abia State House of Assembly was made, to pass the no grazing bill, because even in Abia State, the killer herdsmen are on rampage as well. So we identify with the National Assembly resolution to stop the killings. And the president must stop the killings because he's elected to protect lives and properties of Nigerians. And he's not doing so. So that the relation of duty should stop.
Okay.
The National Assembly did mention also
unemployment, and Barrister also talked about the Empower project. That was employed so many youths.
Let it be on record that not one single Abian has benefited from the Empower program. I mean, it's non-existent in Abia State, but Osibanjo came the other day to try to flag it off, to flag off with the complex one of sons of Abia is doing at Umobrekwa. So it's a facility he put in place. It's just for federal government to send students and sponsor them, to undergo through that Empower program. So he just launched it 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago in Abia, these 3 years.
Okay.
So, but what I'm saying is that the resolution is apt, is timely. You should stop the killings.
Okay.
Should stop arbitrary trials of opposition. And unfortunately, some of those opposition are even members of APC. The so-called MPDP members of in APC caucus had to call up their talks with the presidency. And they did mention those selective corruption trials of people that the president perceives, maybe wanting to run elections against him. You can imagine a president signing the Not Too Young bill and then telling you young people that they should wait until 2023 for them to exercise their rights that act had empowered them. You can imagine that.
What is wrong with that?
A bill that Jonathan sponsored and then couldn't sign it into law, and then upon signing it into law was intimidating them, harassing them, asking them to wait to 2020 before they act on that act.
Okay, we'll come to that.
Please, the House has just expressed the minds of Nigerians. Okay. Those resolutions, no matter how badly we perceive, all Nigerians have against the senators and House of Representatives, their pay packets are too big that is their take home, is like too big. That's just what they got against those members of ours. They want to see it tuned down a little bit or a lot. But the job they are doing, the oversight functions, checking the recklessness of the presidency and all that is necessary for a democracy to thrive. See what is happening in America. The Congress checkmating Trump. And he doesn't go harassing them with arbitrary court charges and all that. I mean, this is democracy, so the House must exist next to, with the presidency. You got your job to do, allow others to do their job. And when they make recommendations, they are speaking for the people. These guys come home. President Buhari doesn't leave Aso Rock. He doesn't mix with the people. The House members, they are the ones that mix with the people. They come home to their constituents. We hear from them, and we tell them what they should say, what they should.
Okay, are you saying?
What they should. So
are you saying
he must listen to them.
Are you saying the House is not a one-chance vehicle, Nigeria?
It's not a one chance. How can it be a one chance? You are calling all of us. You are calling the rest of Nigerians as criminals, as one-chance people.
Okay, thank you so much, Honorable Charles. I want you to react to some of the issues raised by Savito Wogo.
You see, honestly, if one makes himself a self-appointed spokesperson for the president or for the presidency, that's okay by that person. Anyway, the person is entitled to his or her opinion. While Charles Savannah, I am also entitled to my own opinion. You see, when we begin to read facts, read them out, just like, for me, the lie was that man that tell lies. What's his name? Lai Mohammed. I don't know, maybe there are people that maybe duplications of him even in the grassroots here. They've told lies and lies and lies to the extent they are believing themselves. But we in the streets, we know the facts on ground. We know things are better years back, 5 years back, 10 years back than it is now. I'm buying fuel 145, 143 naira and 145. Some places 2 something. I'm buying a bag of rice for 18, 20, 22,000. I can't see light. They're telling me you've increased to so whatever games of figures. What are tell me all the promises they gave us. What have you kept? No.
And the fight against corruption.
And yet, because of that fact, fight against corruption is a commendable thing. I like it. Okay. Yes, he's doing good. But my most favorable senator in the House, who happens to be a Northerner, Shehu Sani, I so much love that man. If you want to fight this thing you call corruption, we all voted, many people voted for you for that singular fact. If you want, let it be all encompassing. How can you be treating the people close to you with deodorant, others with insecticide?
Okay, thank you so much, Honorable Charles. You're still watching Good Morning.
In the name of fighting corruption.
You're still watching Good Morning Abia, your one-stop breakfast show on MCL TV. The line is right now open for you to be part of today's program. Let's see who's on the line, gentlemen. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you, sir. Your name and where you're calling us from, please.
I'm Mazi, okay. I'm speaking from Obingwa.
All right. Mazi, good to have you on the program. Your contribution, please.
Yeah. Please, I just want to say the truth.
Go ahead.
And if you wouldn't mind, don't cut me off.
That's hold on, Mazi. Before you continue, sir. Before you continue, I wouldn't want you to use abusive words on anybody. Okay, you don't have any right to do that.
No abusive words.
Okay,
no.
okay.
The barrister there has been so honest in his comments, and the other people you are using there are using abusive words to people. It is not proper. Let us not be biased when we are talking in the public. It is only the barrister here that has been so consistent and is so humble in such situations. What I'm saying is that these our so-called representatives, are they ready to shake their own feather? How many policemen are they using? Let them reduce the policemen and then increase them at various things. They are one person is using not less than 20, 30 police. What are they doing there? And what are they doing for us as their salary? 10 million naira, 30 million naira, 80 million. What are they doing?
very much. Thank you very much, sir. Mazi talked about one senator going with several, security. Why
yes.
He disagreed with the budget.
Everybody in Nigeria was,
quickly, sir, so that we'll pick up.
Kind of scandalized when Senator Sani wrote out how much they take home, the allowances that the senators take home every month. But Nigerians also have never asked how much does President Buhari take home or the ministers take home every month.
Okay.
Nobody has asked those questions. So, and in a time of penury, in a time of difficulty, recession, when people are not earning money, every Nigerian will be scandalized to know that someone takes so huge jumbo pay home every month, and yet the rest of us are suffering. That is what is kind of playing down on the job the senators and House of Rep members are doing at Abuja. But I want Nigerians also, let's make everything open, everybody's pay open, so that we can now pour out our anger on both the legislature and the executives.
Let's see who's on the line, sir. Let's see who's on the line.
But until that is done, we'll never get a fair hearing.
Okay.
Or a fair assessment, analysis of the House versus the presidency or the executives.
Okay, thank you very much, Honorable. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. All right, you need to call us back again. By Sabito Ungu, which of these conditions do you think, as a matter of priority, is more realistic for the presidency to react to? Sincerely. Before you answer that,
the 12 resolution.
Yeah, the 12 resolution. Somebody is on the line, sorry. Hello, good morning.
Hello?
Good morning, sir. You're welcome.
Good morning. My name is Robin. I'm calling from Abia.
Mr. Bina, you're welcome to the program this morning.
The call to impeach Buhari is just cause. The situation is already overdue. The man has committed a lot of atrocities with this person.
Oh, no. Don't say that. Don't say that he has committed any atrocity. You can't say that. You can't say that he has committed any atrocity. Don't use the word atrocity, please.
The send the soldiers to come and, come and attack them. But all people are not. How many times have Buhari sent the soldiers to them? In full force, just as he sending them to do that. The man has committed a lot of things. Nigerians have to ask for electing Buhari and now you feel that they have to ask for the man has dealt with us. The call is a just cause.
All right, thank you so much.
The House didn't even mention the word impeachment. They just made resolution.
No, it's a resolution.
And they called on the presidency to address the anomaly. And there were things that are very, very reasonable. Those items in that resolution, very reasonable. And there are things that the executive should even try to improve on.
Thank you.
So they are not threatening him with impeachment at all.
Okay. Maris, I wanted to react to the question I actually recorded.
Probably my very good friend didn't follow up what played out at the National Assembly. What led to the rally session? It was in course of doing that. Some people said failure to do this, that they will commence impeachment. You see, sorry.
They said they will evoke.
No, sorry, that is what evoke section 143. Please.
Yeah.
Question is, let us get to the roots.
Okay.
We are aware that there was armed robbery at Offa in Kwara State, where no less than 5 human beings, fathers of children, husbands of wives, and people, heads of families were killed.
33 people.
Okay. By armed robbers.
Yes, 33 persons.
Police, in course of their duty, arrested some suspects.
Okay.
And some of those suspects, in their statements, mentioned Bukola Saraki. That they are Bukola Saraki's boys. On further inquiry by even Nation and other journalists, they also said it was not Bukola Saraki who sent them. We are trying to put the facts straight.
Yes.
They also said that one of the vehicles they used was given to them by the governor of the state. at this point. You see, we shouldn't pretend. Any person who's pretending that some of these bad boys are not used by politicians during political period is merely deceiving himself. The question, if they are Saraki's boys and they have mentioned Saraki, is it not proper at that point to the word is invitation? Because the framers of the Constitution knew, and they said there will be president of the Senate, who will be head of the legislative arm, and they didn't give him immunity.
Okay, are you saying it is the problem between the police and the Senate president that brought up the National Assembly to come up with this resolution? Because we want us to talk about the resolution.
See, that's what I'm saying. It's a drama. Because, you see, everything people want to dramatize, people want to politicize it. In the first place, when the wife of Saraki was arrested on corruption charges, that was how this issue started. When Saraki was arraigned before CCT, he also, see whether you like it or not, we have a president who has decided not to interfere in the works of agencies. If you remember during the screening of EFCC chairman, between the report of DSS, yes. The man said, I won't interfere.
Okay, sir.
But he never did anything about the report, I mean. He still went ahead to allow the man to...
See, he
disregarded the report of
he looked at the report. He looked at the report. Also consulted another report headed by the vice president. Look, he conducted a personal inquiry and discovered that it was a political witch hunt. And the man said, I am comfortable with this man.
Okay.
So, for me, it is, you see, everything mustn't be politics.
Okay, sir.
Saraki has two options. It's either he goes to the police.
You're taking it only to the Saraki.
That is what I'm saying.
Saraki is not the one
that
with this resolution,
please.
Okay.
You see, if you remember what plays out in the National Assembly, and that is the worse for us. At the National Assembly, if you are not doing, if you are not doing the line of the Senate president, many of them have been suspended. Many of them have been intimidated. You saw what happened that led to this mess of the National Assembly being stolen.
And the man is
sitting there. The question, he has to, because Saraki does not. There is no constitutional provision that says he empowers the Senate president to remove a sitting senator.
Barrister,
no way.
Barrister, I want you to answer this question right now.
Yes.
Which of these conditions do you think,
as a
matter of priorities, is more realistic for the president
to act upon? They just give you resolutions. Yes, which one, please?
First and foremost,
that's the question.
First and foremost, the essence of governance is to protect life
and property.
Okay.
Any government that cannot protect life and property
has failed.
For me, has not done why reason for which he was elected.
Okay.
Looking at the current situation in the country,
okay,
comparing it with the past, we came out from a situation where about 3 states fell in the hands of Boko Haram. At the time, Goza, that was the pride of the police, was taken over by Boko Haram. We came out from a situation where bombing
sorry, I wasn't worried that restored Goza. Jonathan, please.
In a country where police headquarters was bombed by Boko Haram, UN office in Abuja bombed, parks, churches. At the time, even it went up to Kaduna, northeast and northwest.
Yes.
The present government managed,
and the government of the day contained those situations, corrected them before we handed over to the peaceful government. Let's not distort facts.
You react.
You shouldn't mention those things because they were things of the past.
You will allow him to talk, then after that you can now react. Go ahead, sir.
You are not controlling this program.
Okay, go ahead, Barrister.
So, we now, at the time, let us
quickly because we don't have time.
Let us not forget. At the time, Nigeria was reduced into a rebel country, where a country in course of going to buy ammunition.
Okay, Barrister.
No, sorry. No, let me get the point.
Okay.
No, listen, let me make
He's not said anything.
See,
Just
a country in course
what
of
has
trying to
Buhari
buy
done
arms.
in terms of security?
Please,
What have you done?
we have to now
Please
go through, go and buy arms in a black market. Carry cash.
Yes.
As if it was being bought by a rebel leader. That is where we are coming from. Today, we have come to a point where Nigerian government would deal directly with American government for sale of arms.
Are you saying that
no,
those aeroplanes are not going to be delivered in 5 years. But the cash and carry purchase was for immediate acquisition. That's why the government had to resort to cash and carry.
Please, because of our time,
because of the time, it's the starting fact.
Government to government transaction where American government said you must pay within so period. So National Assembly, for instance, they prefer a situation where Buhari will begin to lobby them with money. This government does not. The president does not lobby you with money. So for me, present government, when you compare with the level of wastages, killings, and bombings, including the near total collapse of Abia in the past. And the present state of things in Nigeria. We are not there yet. We are not there yet.
Yes, we are not there yet. We'll get there.
But there is high improvement.
We'll get there. Yeah.
That's high improvement.
Thank you so much, sir. Honorable, quickly, because of our time, please. Because we no longer have time. I want you to react to some of the issues. If actually security has improved in the present administration. Quickly, sir.
I'm not the only one saying it, but majority of Nigerians are saying it.
I wonder what
the President
majority of Nigerians said
has failed to
sit your house and they assess the majority of Nigerians
to the lives and properties of Nigerians has failed. From Abia, the killer herdsmen, to Zamfara, Kaduna, even areas where we're not having even armed robbery and kidnappings. They're all happening under this present regime. So I don't know where Barrister is picking his statistics.
Okay.
When it comes to harassment of perceived enemies, even in the same political camp, I mean, APC.
All right, thank you, sir.
Inside APC.
Honorable Charles, need to comment right now.
So,
Honorable,
political tumor everywhere.
Thank you so much.
So,
thank you.
What the House is saying, can he maintain peace so that we can have a smooth and free and fair elections?
Thank you so much, sir. Honorable Charles, do you see the presidency accepting this action demanded by the National Assembly to put in place so as to avert impeachment?
You see, I decided to keep quiet when it seems to be getting hot in the two gentlemen here. But that's the beauty of democracy, the beauty of such a discussion. It means it's getting interesting. But back to your question, will he hit to this?
Yeah.
The man that we know, the man going by his president, I don't think he will.
Okay.
He won't listen to Nigerians. He will only listen to that thing he wants to do.
And do you see National Assembly impeaching him if he fails to do so?
I don't see it happening.
Okay, thank you so much. We're going to continue with the discussion tomorrow, please, gentlemen, because we have a lot to talk about on this topic, sir. Thank you, Barrister Victor Wugu. I know you have a lot to tell us concerning this administration. And Honorable Judy Dacha, I know you also have some things to react to some of the issues raised by Barrister. Thank you for coming. Tomorrow will be a better day. And Honorable Charles, thank you so much for making our time to be with us on today's program. We're going to continue the topic tomorrow. All right, you're still watching Good Morning Abia, your one-stop breakfast show on MCL TV. We'll go for a break. When we come back, it will be time for sports updates coming from Jonah Ochi. Please, just stay with us.
One-stop breakfast show on TV.
Good morning, and it's good to see you again today so that we talk about everything rocking the world of sports, that will continue to let you know everything that is happening in the world of sports, especially the one that has to do with the Super Eagles of Nigeria as they are preparing for the 2018 World Cup there in Russia. We all know that the coach that is going to try, and of course football administrators in the country are not leaving anything to chance as they want to make sure that Super Eagles of Nigeria give Nigeria's quality representation during that global showpiece in Russia. That is the hometown, that is the country of Vladimir Putin. All right, I want to tell you that as part of their preparations, they had an international friendly match with Czech Republic yesterday, and the Super Eagles of Nigeria slumped 0-1 to Czech Republic yesterday, which really threw many Nigerians into confusion. Most of them are asking these questions: is this the kind of performance that we are going to see the Super Eagles of Nigeria put up during the 2018 World Cup? But just yesterday, after that game, Super Eagles head coach Ganatra called on Nigerians not to criticize the team following Wednesday's 1-0 loss to Czech Republic in their last warm-up game before the start of the World Cup in Russia. Speaking after the game in Austria, who agreed that the team is not yet ready for the World Cup with 9 days to go, however, pleaded with fans to focus on the results at the World Cup, which to him were more important. We have 9 days to be ready for our first match against Croatia. As of today, we are not ready. I am not sad because of this result. The result that matters will be in Russia, said the coach, which was posted on the team's official Twitter handle. In the space of 5 days, the Eagles have lost 2 friendly matches, with the first against England, which ended 2-1 at the Wembley Stadium last Saturday. It will be recalled that in March, Nigeria lost to Serbia 2-0 in a friendly played in London. So the coach is telling us, and by extension telling all Nigerians, that all hope is not lost. And for me, it's just an international friendly match. The big occasion will come in that game against Croatia in the 2018 World Cup. And in that match yesterday, I saw some players that were being careful not to sustain any injury before that game against Croatia. That game against Croatia is the main game. Is the main game for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. The matches that the Super Eagles played against England, Serbia, and of course Czech Republic were international friendly matches. And I hope that the Super Eagles will give their best in their game against Croatia, against Argentina, and Iceland, their group opponents. All right, let us now go over to table tennis, where Ronald Kodre will be the only African again competing in the season of the CEAT Ultimate Table Tennis in India, as the Nigerian has been listed among the 19 foreigners competing in the lucrative league holding in 3 Indian cities, that is Pune, Delhi, and Kolkata. Kodre, who competed in the maiden edition as the only player from Africa, has been teamed up with Indian legend Sharath Anchanta to form the Warriors TTC, coached by India's Rajesh and the Hungarian ace French Kasai. Described by the organizers as African sensation, Ronald Kodre stays and leads the foreign contingent, which includes Chinese Taipei's Zhuan Qingyong, Austria's Sofia Korkanova, and Czech Republic's Hanna Matelova to complete the foreign quota. And we hope that Ronald Kodre will do well to make sure that name Nigeria is hoisted. He's hoisted among international competitors. All right, so let us now go over now to the home of table tennis. That is lawn tennis. Where one man is trying to also make sure that he breaks every other record and sets his own record. That man is Rafael Nadal. He has been outstanding during the ongoing Roland Garros that is taking place in France. French Open on Thursday really was really, was an uncapped word of excitement as they saw Nadal stage against Diego Schwartzman. But while they were playing yesterday, their game was held up by rain. Nadal aiming for an 11th French Open title, trails the 11th seed 6-3, 3-5 when the rain had to stop them yesterday. But the game will continue today. That yesterday, Schwartzman was giving him a run for his money. We'll see who will laugh last in their game later today. And when the results of that game comes out, we will never fail to let you know about it. All right, so let us now go over to the female category where Gabi Muguruza moved a step closer to regaining the French Open title by beating a two-time winner Maria Sharapova in a one-sided quarterfinal. The Spanish third seed, who won in Paris in 2016, dominated from the start and ended the Russian 30th seed's hopes with a 6-2, 6-1 victory in 17 minutes. The reigning Wimbledon champion 24 has not dropped a set at Roland Garros. She will play world number 1 Simona Halep in the last 4 after the Romanian beat German Angelique Kerber. Both Muguruza and Halep, who is searching for her first Grand Slam title, could finish the tournament as the world number 1. So we say congratulations to Gabin Muguruza, that outstanding female tennis player. She defeated Maria Sharapova, and she will be facing Simona Halep. And anyone that wins that wins this season's French Open title will be, and we have the opportunity to claim the world number 1 in the female category. That fate is between her, that is Muguruza, and Simona Halep. Who knows who will be the world number 1 in the female category? Well, at the end of the tournament. With that, I hand over to Selamani.
All right, thank you so much, Jonah Oje, for the sports update. And this is how far we can go on today's program. And sincerely, we apologize for not picking your calls because the argument was so high. But join us tomorrow again, where we'll also be looking at the threat by the National Assembly to impeach President Muhammadu Buhari. And with that, I call it a day on today's program. I am Stella Amanda. Do have a lovely day ahead, and stay tuned for Unasalaji Umabia. Bye for now.
MCL, the world in your home.